It really speeds things up if you take the trouble, when you want to hatch an area, to run a polyline around the area. For the sake of argument here, I'm trying to hatch some slate paving with a rather unusual style. And if I pick any one of these entities which represents a piece of slate tiling, you can see it's a single polyline. I haven't done it there, so I can pick each and right click and join. So hopefully that one's a polyline and the one adjacent to it's a polyline, and hopefully all of these are now polylines. I have a layer called Slate, so I can associate a color with that layer if I want. Now to draw and hatch becomes very easy if you've got polylines to say we're just going to pick points when we want to find a boundary. So if we pick points, we can click inside the polyline, and you can see that the individual spaces are recognized very easily and very quick. And we could put some solid hatching, just right click and finish and say okay, that puts solid hatching through that area. And even there you can see that my gaps are not terribly good and it needs some refinement. Really, the paving contractor would like a better illustration, I think, of the gaps. It's for indicative purposes only, but I like to be as precise as I can with the spacing between the individual tiles. But I digress. The important thing there is to use a polyline to define an area to be hatched, and then picking the area in, to pick the select area option, and it will find the boundaries very much more quickly than you would if you just use, let's do it, draw, hatch, and pick entities. We've got to pick each entity in turn, and that requires a degree of precision, so I have to zoom in, whereas just going click, 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 click and picking, I'll finish that one off and repeat the hatch, and now pick points, just bang, bang, bang. That is a lot quicker in finding our hatching. Don't forget that each one of the hatches that I've put in there is a separate entity, and I can pick them up, recolor them, remove them, or whatever. Let's delete them. And what we found with that hatching is that the gaps between our tiles were rather too small in this area. So now that it's a polyline, it's relatively easy to move the vertices of the polylines in and create more gaps between the individual slate, like so. So polylines, hatching, and picking an area are important things to remember when you're thinking about hatching.